For 17 years, RLL have had a successful partnership with BMW. They've won some of the biggest races in North America together, like the Rolex 24, the 12 Hours of Sebring, and Petit Le Mans. They've won championships together in the American Le Mans Series, and were the team to debut the M Hybrid V8 to the world in 2023. But at the end of the 2025 season, that will all come to an end, as BMW have announced that they're parting ways with Rahal Letterman Lanigan. The rumors that we heard earlier in the year have turned out to be true, as BMW have announced that they will be parting ways with Team RLL at the end of the 2025 season. As I said at the top, RLL and BMW have spent 17 years working together, dating back to the American Le Mans Series GT2 class, and later going on to compete in IMSA's GTD, GTLM, and GTD Pro classes before landing that premier BMW flagship GTP program that they currently run. I think it's safe to say that this has been a largely successful relationship, with team co-owner Bobby Rahal saying to Racer Magazine's Marshall Pruitt, who broke the story, that "We're obviously disappointed that our racing relationship with BMW is coming to an end after so many years where we've had a lot of success with them. It was a privilege and an honor to represent BMW on the circuits of America and in Canada, and now it's time to move on to new things." As I said, this relationship between BMW and Team RLL has been a successful one over the years. Together, they won the American Le Mans Series Team Championship in the GT2 class in 2010, doing that in their BMW E92 M3, before winning the Drivers, Teams, and Manufacturers Championship along with the 12 Hours of Sebring in 2011. They would go on to run the BMW Z4 into the new unified IMSA era, and then run the M6 GTLM, which saw them take back-to-back class wins at the Rolex 24. After a short filler program in GTD Pro, Team RLL would go on to land the M Hybrid V8 program, which they would help develop for the start of the LMDH era in 2023. Now, while the GTP program may be coming to an end, it may not be the end of this relationship between RLL and BMW. The Indianapolis-based team also operates BMW of North America's historic racing activations, and is also the North American customer racing parts and service provider. It is not clear right now if RLL will continue in either of those capacities for the brand. Now let's just take a breather here. Let's step back and look at all of this. It certainly is some big news, but it's also not a huge surprise. Back in April, we had that news that broke about BMW exploring other options to run the program for the 2026 season. However, this is not the first time that BMW had done something like this. In 2024, the brand also evaluated other options, and it cited that this is a natural part of the process for the company. And thinking about the speed that the program has shown this year, it certainly may have appeared that, this program has turned a corner and actually made real improvements. However, it doesn't seem like BMW sees it that way, and when you look at the broader picture, you can kind of see why. The program has largely struggled in its approximately 2.5 years of existence. They picked up just 2 wins, one of which occurred due to the car that actually crossed the line first failing post-race tech. And credit where credit is due, that second race that they won was a dominant 1-2 finish at Indy last year. Now, I said that the program was kind of appearing to turn a corner. The first 2 years for this program in IMSA were really not great, with a best finish of 6th in the Teams Championship. And add to it, that's when there were only 8 full season entries. Now, we've also seen another development that I think it's important to note here in the sports car racing world as a whole, and that's that we're seeing more and more teams using the same team for both their WEC and IMSA programs. We've seen Porsche do it with Penske and have a lot of success in both championships. The additional data sharing and car familiarity has clearly been very valuable for them. Now, we have also seen other programs do this, like the SC63 did it last year. Aston Martin is currently using the Heart of Racing for both of their hypercar and GTP efforts. And I also believe that Ford has mentioned that they are very interested in using the same team for both their WEC and IMSA efforts if they ever do confirm that they're going to put in an IMSA entry. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that this does seem to be a trend that more and more manufacturers are going to using that same team for both their WEC and IMSA entries, and it seems very likely that that's the route that BMW are going to be heading here. Before we talk about the route that BMW is going in though, let's talk about what's next for RLL. Obviously, this was a big program for RLL and a huge loss for the team. The team does have another racing program as it currently competes with 3 entries in IndyCar, but that's it. Apart from the BMW program, it's just IndyCar that's left. Now, the team is exploring some other options. In the Racer article, it is alluded to that by Bobby that they're exploring an Indy Next program, maybe an LMP2 program, which I think makes a lot of sense for them, and maybe even a NASCAR truck program. But I think it's important to remain kind of optimistic when we're thinking about RLL's future. They've been a staple in the sport for many years now, and we've seen some staples of the sport exit the sport and then come back. We recently saw it with Meyer Shank Racing. I don't think there's any reason why we couldn't see that in the future with RLL. Hopefully we'll still see them in the IMSA paddock in one form or another come next year. As for BMW, the rumors are virtually all but confirmed, it seems like, at this point, with Team WRT expected to take over the IMSA operations in addition to the World Endurance Championship program. Now, if WRT does indeed take over this IMSA program, they come into it with virtually no IMSA experience. They have partnered with existing teams to run Rolex 24 entries in 2019 and 2020, but a full season GTP factory effort is a little bit more of an undertaking. Now, I think it would make a lot of sense for them to partner up with an existing team that has familiarity with IMSA and their championships. Perhaps that could be a team like Pratt Miller Motorsports, who have expressed a heavy interest in making the jump up to IMSA's GTP class, or an existing team like Chip Ganassi Racing, who are currently out of the series but have run many successful programs here in the past. Or, I mean, heck, could we even see a wild card enter the mix like a NASCAR team? You do have programs out there like Trackhouse and RFK who have expressed a heavy interest in jumping into IMSA in one form or another. And then you also have some very interesting programs like Aspire Motorsports that carry a lot of capital behind them. I don't know, just spitballing, but I mean, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Could we see one of those programs maybe partner up with WRT in this? It's also been discussed that this program could potentially scale back to a Michelin Endurance Cup only schedule. Obviously, I really hope that those rumors aren't the case. We do want to see BMW competing for the full season championship with the other manufacturers that are doing that, but it's also really important to remember that these are just rumors at this point. Realistically, WRT still is not confirmed for this, even though it is heavily rumored. But the one thing that we know in all of this is that BMW and Team RLL will not be working together on this BMW M Hybrid V8 program in IMSA come next year. Now let me know what you guys think in the comments. Did we see this split coming? I think we kind of did, but I was still holding on for that little bit of hope that with the speed that the team has showed this year, that might give them an extra year of leeway before this decision was made. But let me know what you think down in the comments, and go check out this video on another IMSA team that left the sport but has come back and is now on a 2-race winning streak. Huge shout out to all the channel supporters. If you too want to support the show, you can head to patreon.com/offinthes or click that join button below. Once again though, thanks for tuning in. I hope everyone has a great race weekend and doesn't go off in the S's.